everyone. It's me, Terry of the Yarnjoy podcast. Welcome back to another episode of Tuesday Tidbits. So in the last Tuesday Tidbits of last week, we started working on a dinosaur. We're doing a crochet with me, and I'm doing this dinosaur pattern. I will link it down below in the description box. I'm making the green and blue spotted dinosaur. And in the first episode, which was last week, we did rounds, I did rounds 1 through 8 along with you, and then I gave you some homework to do rounds 9, 10, and 11 on your own, because you were just doing one single crochet in each stitch around for 42 stitches. And so I did my homework and now I am just finished with round 11, and now I'm ready to go on to round 12 along with you. Okay, so I hope that you're enjoying this project, and let's get started. Now we're going to finish up the body on our dinosaur. Okay, round 12, I'm going to take my marker out and we're going to be starting to do some decreases. Okay, so round 12 says single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and then it says single crochet 2 together. Well, that means a decrease. And for amigurumis, I like to do what they call an invisible decrease, because it doesn't leave a little lump that the single crochets 2 togethers tend to do. It just looks smoother on your work. And so I always do an invisible decrease when I'm working on amigurumis and I have to do a decrease. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this repeat for this round. It says single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and then do what I'm going to do, the invisible decrease. Okay, so next 5 stitches. So 1, that's stitch number 1, and I'm going to put my marker back into that stitch, so I'll know that's the first stitch of the round. Okay, now 4 more stitches, because it says to do 5. So that's number 1, number 2. These are all singles. Number 3. Number 4, and number 5. Okay, so now we're ready to do the invisible decrease. Okay, if you don't know how to do an invisible decrease, I will show you how I do mine. Okay, so I'll try to hold my hand up here closer to the camera so you might be able to see it better. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my hook under the front loop only of the next stitch. See that? And then I'm going to just kind of pivot my hook around, and I'm going to go under the front loop only of the next stitch as well. See that? Okay, now I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to go through both of those loops that were on my hook, okay, very carefully. See that? And then now I'm going to just complete my single crochet like regular, and that's an invisible decrease. Okay, now I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to be repeating that sequence. I couldn't think of the word. That sequence of stitches all the way around. So single crochet in the next 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and now it's time for another invisible decrease. So let me show you again. Put your hook under the front loop only of the next stitch, and then pivot it around, and put it underneath the front loop only of the next stitch as well. Okay, and then now yarn over, pull your hook or that yarn through both of those loops. Okay, and then you're going to just make a single crochet with what you have left. Okay, so now we're going to repeat that sequence around until we get back to the marker. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, another invisible decrease. Okay, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Okay, another invisible decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another invisible decrease. Okay, and one more repeat. 1, oops, oh, split the yarn or something. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one last invisible decrease. So under the front loop of the next stitch, under the front loop of the next stitch, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops, and then finish your single crochet. Okay, so now if you count your stitches, you should end up with 36 stitches around your opening there. Okay, so now let's go on to round 13. Round 13 is not any decreases, it's just a regular, we're going to do just 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around, and we will still stay at a stitch count of 36 stitches. Okay, so there's my first one, and I'll put my hook back, my stitch marker back. Okay, now I'm going to go continue on counting, starting with, I've already done number 1, so number 2 is right here. So 2, 3, these are all singles, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. Yay. Okay. So that was round 13. Round 14, we're going to do another decrease round. At the end of round 14, we should only have 30 stitches. Okay, so take my marker out. The repeat for round 14 is single crochet in the next 4 stitches and then do our invisible decrease. Okay, so 1, and then put my marker back, and then 2, 3, 4, and then do our invisible decrease, and that makes stitch number 5. Okay, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, and then stitch number 10 is an invisible decrease. There's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, 15 is an invisible decrease. Okay, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 is an invisible decrease, and then 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25 is an invisible decrease, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30 is an invisible decrease. So we will end up with 30 stitches all the way around our opening, okay? And that is the end of round 14. Round 15 is just another basic single crochet, one in each stitch around. We're not going to change the stitch count, so we will end up with 30 stitches still around our opening. I took out my marker so I can move it, put my first stitch in, put the marker back, okay? And now I'm going to do one stitch all the way around, and I'm still going to have 30. So that was number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, so we still have 30 stitches all the way around. That was round 15. It also says with round 15 that you can start stuffing your body if you want to, but I mean, we still have 30 stitches around. Usually I don't really stuff my body until we're doing the decrease, unless it's got some crevices or something that I need to make sure I get filled in. Usually I don't until I have about maybe 18 stitches around, something like that, before I start putting stuffing in. So I think I'm gonna wait a few more rounds before I put stuffing in. Okay, round 16 is an decrease round. We're gonna end up with 24 stitches around when we get finished with the round. So I took the marker out, stitch number 1, and put my marker back in. Okay, so it is a decrease round. The sequence says to do 3 stitches, single stitches, single crochets, and then invisible decrease. Okay, so I've already done number 1. So number 2 and number 3, they're both all singles, and then invisible decrease for number 4. Okay, and then number 5, 6, 7, and then invisible decrease for stitch number 8. And then number 9, 10, 11, and then a decrease for number 12, 13, 14, 15, and then a decrease for number 16, 17, 18, 19, and then a decrease for stitch number 20, okay, and then 21, 22, okay, 23, and then a decrease for stitch number 24. Okay, so that's 24 stitches around. Okay, so that is the end of round 16, and we have 24 stitches. Round 17, it just says single crochet in each single crochet, stitch around, so we're still going to have 24 stitches at the end of round 17. So I'll take my marker out, put stitch number 1, and put the marker back in. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You may hear my dryer in the background. I'm doing laundry. 21, 22, 23, and stitch number 24 is the last one of the round. And that was round 17. Okay, so now we have 24 stitches. Let's go on. Let's see. Round 18, we're going to end up with 18 single crochets because we're going to be doing a decrease. So we put our stitch marker, take the stitch marker out, do 1 single crochet, and then put the stitch marker back. Okay, so that's 1 and 2. Stitch number 1, stitch number 2, both singles, and then we're going to do a decrease, invisible decrease for stitch number 3. Okay, and then 4, 5, and then do an invisible decrease for stitch number 6. 7, 8, and then do an invisible decrease for stitch number 9. Halfway around. 10, 11, do an invisible decrease for the next stitch for stitch number 12. 13, 14, invisible decrease for stitch number 15. Okay, and then 16, 17, and then invisible decrease for stitch number 18. Okay, so we have 18 stitches all the way around. Now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to put some stuffing in. Okay, so I will pull up my loop so I don't lose my hook, take my hook out. Don't lose stitches. This was round 18, so remember when we start crocheting again, we will be crocheting on round 19. So now I'm going to go ahead and put stuffing in. I like to stuff my amigurumis pretty firmly, especially since I want it to stand up, be able to stand up. Just stuff it in there a little at a time. Now we do have this hole down here for where we're going to attach to crochet the tail in, and so we will still be able to kind of adjust our stuffing when we are working on the tail as well, because we will be stuffing the tail also. Okay, so I can always get some more stuffing, but I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next round. Okay, so round 19 is just 1 single crochet all the way around. So I took my marker out. I'm going to do my first stitch. Uh-oh, almost lost the stitch there. Let me pull it out. Okay, make sure I didn't split it. Okay, so stitch number 1, and then I'm going to put my marker back in. Okay, 2, 3, and it's also good if you don't put your stuffing all the way up to the top, because that way when you're working your stitches, you're not hooking the stuffing with your hook, and that kind of can make it kind of messy. Okay, so that was 3 stitches. Now we'll keep going. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, okay, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Okay, so that was round 19, and we still have 18 stitches around our opening. Round 20, we're going to do a decrease, and we're going to go from 18 stitches down to 16 stitches. We're going to be forming a neck, okay? So this is round 20. It says single crochet in the next 7 stitches and then do a decrease, and we're going to do that 2 times. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So here's stitch number 1. We're going to put our marker back. Okay. Stitch number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, there was 7, and now we're going to do an decrease, invisible decrease for stitch number 8. Then we're going to repeat that again. So 1, 2, 3. This is very slippery yarn. I'm having to really wrap it around my finger to get attention. 4, to keep the tension. 5, 6, 7, and now we're going to do an invisible decrease for the last 2 stitches, and that will give us a total of 16 stitches around our opening. Okay, let me get a little bit more stuffing. I have to reach over here and get it out of my bigger bag here. Okay. Okay, so that was round 20. Round 21 is going to be another decrease, and we're going to go from 16 stitches down to 14 stitches. Okay, so we're going to take our marker out, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch and put our marker back. Okay, and now the instructions say, the pattern says to single crochet in the next 6 stitches and then do a decrease, and we do that twice. Well, I've already done the first stitch when I put my marker in there, so this is stitch number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, oh, I'm sorry, 6. Oh, yeah, I'm right. Sorry. So 6. This is 6 stitches. Okay, now we do our decrease for stitch number 7. Doing an invisible decrease, stitch number 7, and then we're going to do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, and then our last invisible decrease, and that will give us a total of 14 stitches around our opening. Okay, that was round 21. Rounds 22 and 23, that's 2 rounds. We're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Right now we have 14 stitches, okay, so I'm going to take my marker out. Okay, and so sometimes when I have just a small amount of stitches around, like I will have 14 around right now, and I need to do 2 rounds instead of stopping and continue, you know, at the end of the first 14 stitches, and then move my yarn, my stitch marker, and then do 14 more. Well, I know that 14 plus 14 is 28, and so I'm just going to do 28 stitches around, and that will take care of rounds 22 and 23. Okay, so now I'm going to use my marker. So 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so that was round 22, but I'm going to keep going. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, almost there, 26, 27, 28. Yay! Okay, so that was rounds 22 and 23, and it says fasten off, leaving a long tail for sewing the head to the neck. So this is what we're going to use when we're going to sew the head. So the head will not have a tail hanging from it, okay? We will be weaving in the ends for that when we finish the head. So I want to leave a long tail, so that way I will have plenty of yarn to sew that head on, okay? It says, leaving a long tail for sewing the head to the neck. If needed, thread the beginning yarn tail through the stitches. Oh, we did that already. That was where we had the magic circle at the beginning, and that was in part 1, and I already sewed that. I weaved that beginning tail yarn tail in. So it just says secure and weave in beginning tail only. Yeah, so don't have to do that, we already did it. So I'm just going to slip stitch into the next stitch on the round just to finish it off, and then I'm just going to pull the yarn all the way through just like that. Okay, and so this long tail here will be used to sew the head on. Now I can take my stuffing and I can fill up the top of the neck, and like I said, we can always adjust it as we're putting the tail in also. Okay, this stuffing is so soft, and where I got it is I had ordered 2 pillows that I thought were 16-inch pillows, like pillow inserts, off of Amazon, and I got them and they were way bigger than a 16-inch square pillow. And I thought, okay, well, I'll just use them, you know, as throw pillows or whatever. Well, I never used them. They were very thick and very puffy, and you couldn't sleep on them. I mean, it'd make your neck hurt. And so I just decided, since I never returned them and I had them for several years up in my closet, I just decided to open them up and take the filling out, and so that's what I did. And so I got a huge amount of fiberfill from those 2 pillows, and it's so soft. And so I just filled a pillowcase, like a king-size pillowcase, those big ones, with this. And this is the fiberfill that I am using right now instead of ordering more fiberfill or buying more. Anyway, there's that tip. Okay, so there is our body, nice and firm. It feels good. I can always adjust the stuffing if I need to, you know. But yeah, there is our body for our dinosaur. Let me look at the clock. It is almost another 30 minutes, so I guess I will leave off the tutorial right here until part number 3, which will be next week on next week's Tuesday Tidbits. I hope you're enjoying doing this tutorial with me. I'm enjoying working it with you. And let's see, so no homework for this time. We will see you back next Tuesday for part 3 of this dinosaur, and we will be putting the tail on. And I think the way I had it scheduled, I think it's the tail, and then we were going to, yeah, start working on the legs next. So until then, come back. Oh, and come back tomorrow. We'll have Crafting with Friends again, because tomorrow will be Wednesday, and we will have a good visit then, sit down visit. And so until then, we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.